Welcome back to Grit Gym. Today is the math of strength, and the point of this show, doing this show, is to quantify this strength thing so that you can coax the gain along. We've talked about this a lot on this show. Strength is not about forcing your body into submission. It's about coaxing it along. Okay, and I want to get on board with everybody else too. Believe me, I want this to be the case. I want it to be accurate that you just beat the shit out of your body and good things happen. But it doesn't. It doesn't work. I use that philosophy for very many years. I see CrossFit using the same philosophy. I see everybody that comes in here that's been using that same philosophy ended themselves in a physical therapy office or an orthopedics office that got them a year out from being able to do anything. 18 months later, they come into us and say, I need to exercise, my joints feel like shit. And I ask them, what were you doing before? They were beating the crap out of their body. It does not work. Believe me, I want it to be the case that it works, that you just go really hard and really good things happen, and that you just push and push and push, and you squat as much as you can, you deadlift as much as you can every day, and all these great things happen, but they don't. Okay? You have to coax the gain. It does not work like that. It does not work like that. I cannot push that enough. And out here at Grit Gym, this is not how we train. Okay? It is not. It might sound fluffy, but it is not how we train. And besides, it is not fluffy to work smart. You still have to, working smart means that you have to apply the necessary hard to get what you wanted out of it also. Okay? It's about doing both. You don't get to do one and not do the other. All right? If you were to just work hard, you could leave out working smart. But if you're going to work smart, then you have to apply the work hard. All right? So how do we do this thing? How do we quantify this out so that we're not guessing? In a controlled environment like a gym where you get to pick your exercise, pick your response, pick your stimulus, pick your weight, pick how you're going to do the exercise, and get an assessment before you even start so you know what's appropriate for you, there is no excuse for the things that are coming out of the fitness world. There is no excuse, okay? Sure, some things could happen, like you could have a cyst in a bone and you break a bone, like freak accident, sure. That's an anomaly. So how do you do this? How do you quantify this thing out? And some of you are going to watch this show and you're going to be like, I don't get these terms that he's using. I don't get what's going on. I try to minimize the amount of jargon that I'm using and just say things in a way that makes sense to everybody, but this is how you do out the math. Okay? You have to have the math. For starters, let's go through and get just some loose data on this. I know that I go through this each time, but 1 rep, let's say these are reps, okay, and these are weights, okay, so we're going to go pounds. So 1 rep, we're going to be able to, we're going to be pounds in percent. Sorry, I wrote this up wrong. Percent, pounds. All right, first you have to have this gauge, okay, we have to know, we have to get a chart going. So 1 rep, that's going to be 100%, so your 1 rep max, you already know it. But what about when you get to 3? What about 5, 7? Okay, we'll just stick with 1, 3, 5, 7. Even though that's an even number of things, it goes up to a prime number, so I'll be okay. My OCD won't override me there. All right, so we know that at 3 1 rep max, and this I think the accuracy is much less important than precision in terms of this. I've seen other scales that don't do this exactly how we do it, but I don't think that they're wrong when I put these numbers up there. And these are the ones that we use. I think that precision is much more important. I think precision is much more important than accuracy on this. All right, so for 3 reps, you're going to be at about 94% of your 1 rep max. 5 reps, about 88% of your 1 rep max. 7 reps, 82% of your 1 rep max. Why is this important? Because how are you going to calculate your 1 rep max from a 7 rep max? You got to know. You got to be able to use that 82% right there. So if I did 200 pounds and this also goes back to the math of strength thing, is like quantifying strength is a very good thing because then we can look at progress. If you did 200 pounds for 3 reps 3 months ago, and then we came back and this month you did 7 reps at 200 pounds, did you get stronger? Well, some people say no, and they're morons. That's dumb. Of course, you got stronger. You did 3 at the beginning, you did 7 now. Did you get stronger? Yes, of course you did. Let's calculate this out because you got about 8% stronger there, right? Okay, you have to be able to do the math here, and then we have to be able to find numbers over here for what we're getting. Okay, so 1, 3, 5, 7, we've got some data on that. Now we can look over here and we can actually look at how we're going to calculate this out. So let's say we have a 1 rep max, or let's say someone comes in, we used a 5 rep max for a 3 set. So they did a set of 1, 1, 1, 1, and then they did what we call a 3 plus. Okay, so they did 1 rep, warm up, warm up, warm up, warm up, see what you got. Okay, this is what we might do on a max out set. We never max out for a true 1. For a true 1, this is stupid. Okay, for starters, I'm not going to use 88%, even though I'm not going to use 94% on this 3 rep. Okay, I'm going to actually use less than the 5%. I'm going to use 86%. Why? Because I want them to beat the 3. I don't want to have any. I don't want any technical failure. If you are a competitive powerlifter, Eddie Hall says this all the time. He says, save your misses for the competition. Couldn't agree more. But people miss on what Eddie Hall is doing there because he's squatting like 800 pounds. You know, and so they're like, well, that means I got to squat 800 pounds. No, if your max out squat is 200 pounds, you are not going to be doing 3 reps at 200 pounds. You're not even going to get close. You're going to take 94% times 200 to get what you might be able to do right here for 3 reps. I would encourage you to take it times 88 and try for 5, okay? So that you can get 3 good ones, and then maybe, just maybe, you happen to get 2 extra in the tank that day, but I would still go down, 86%. So I'm going to use 86% right here, hoping that that this person, a she or a he, can pull off 5 reps. Okay, what happens if they get above that? Well, we know that they got stronger. So now, instead of 5, now we're going to go, and they got 7, let's say. Well, now we can take whatever weight that they were using here by 82%, and we can figure out what their 1 rep max is so that we can continue that on for the next week. Most people, unless you're like an accountant, you're probably like, oh my God, I hate you for this. But now, does this work every single time? This is one of the questions I got this week, and one of the reasons I'm bringing this up. So far, we've just been summarizing all the videos that we've done before, but does this work every single time? And should you follow this from week to week to week? Okay, so if we were doing a 5x5, so we're doing a 5x5 at this point, okay, and we have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, okay? We know that, and this is another just a continuum thing, always work from here to 1. Don't work from 1 forward, okay? So we know 5x5, 88%. We need to drop that down. So we're going to use 86% as our top rep right here, okay? And then we're probably going to go 81, probably going to go 76, and we're probably going to go 66 for 4 working sets. And then we are going to have a couple more just warm-up sets up here, just to kind of get used to the bar. Okay, so we're going to get used to the bar. Now we got to work backwards. So we're going to go like a high-stress individual, let's say. We're going to drop them by 76% for 2 sets, 71, and then 61%. Okay, and then we're going to drop that by 5, 71, 71. What would this be? 66. And then 56. And then week 1, I think that you should really make your week 1 your deload. I really do. I think most people are just going to be better off with that. I know we did a video, Eric and I did a video a while back on the deload week and how many different ways there are to deload. I think the easiest way is to just do 56% and 66%. 2 working sets, be done. Just get 2 here, times 5, be done for the day. That stupid fly. Problems with the door being open. But anyway, make it simple, just like this. Even though you can get 88% for 5, make it 86 and then work backwards. Even though you can get 88% for 5 on this week, you go down to 71. Why? Because we're coaxing the gain along. It's not about submitting the body to your will. It's about coaxing this thing along. Okay? Coax the gain. Do not submit your body to your will. Your body doesn't like that. Okay, your body is just going to get injured if you try to go above 88. You watch Eddie Hall and you watch all these guys that are lifting all this monumental amount of weight. They're staying down here. The way people are training today is as if they're trying to run a marathon every single day to train for a marathon. It's like, that's dumb. Don't run a marathon every single. You don't run a marathon. You might run 5 miles one day, 10 miles the next day. You might do intervals another day. You do all kinds of different things. You do not try to submit your body to and just do this fly. This fly is aggressive. This fly is on me. But anyway, and we're clear down here at 56% of your 1 rep max, and we're saying just do that for 2 sets, 56 and 66. Why? Because your body needs a break. It needs to be coaxed along. Coax the gain. Do not force the body into submission. Coax the gain. All right, so what happens when this doesn't work? What happens when you get to week 3, you're tired. You're tired, you're beat up. You're just like, man, I haven't been sleeping very well. My kids are screaming at me. I've been at work for 10, 12 hours a day this week. I'm just not feeling very good. It might have nothing to do with what you did in week 1 and week 2 as far as your training. It might be all the other lifestyle things. Remember, you're only in the gym for about 1 hour a day. If you're in there for the gym for more than 1 hour a day, you need to get a life. Get the hell out of here. But if you're in the gym for 1 hour a day, it's probably not going to accumulate to as much stress as your outside life. Your body doesn't differentiate between the design stress that you're giving it with weights and the chaotic stress of a fight with your significant other, dealing with a teenager, work, all these other stresses. The body doesn't differentiate between those any more than it would differentiate between a knife wound and a gun wound. It's going to heal the same way. So we have to take this into account. What do you do on week 3 when your body is just torched? Well, at Grit, what we do to quantify this, just to give people a window, we give them a minus 30%. So we would take 30% off of their 1 rep max. So we would drop them clear down to 46% of their 1 rep max. 46%. Go through the motions, get the training, get a little blood flowing, maybe not get a huge training effect, but get something. We're going to drop down 46, 46, 41, 31% of their 1 rep max. Can they do more than that? Yeah, it's going to feel really light. It's just going to feel like no big deal. But that's what we want, so that we can come back here and we can murder it. Because we have to manage the stress. All right, what about when you're week 3 or week 2, let's say, this is better on week 2. What about week 2, you came in off a deload and you're just like, I feel so damn good, I can barely stand it. I really encourage you to stick with that 71%. I don't care how good you feel. I'm glad you feel really good, but I don't think that you should deviate away from the 71%. On week 3, I don't think that you should deviate away from the 76%. I think you should wait until week 4 on that final set of 86% and do as many as you possibly can on that day. However, your readiness might be really high one day. So let's say it is really high one day. This is where we do a plus 10. Okay, plus 10%. So let's say this would be an 81%. Okay, we're 81%. So we're still below the max of 88 for a 5 rep max at 81%. So we're not getting too far into crazy land. Okay, and we're sticking with it. So plus 10 minus 30. This gives us a 40% window that we can work in between. If you cannot find the weight that is appropriate for you in a 40% window, we have to, we really mess something up. But this is the math of strength. You have to quantify this stuff out. You have to quantify this stuff out. You don't get to not. This is a 5x5, this is a 4x5. My bad. This is a 4x5 program, 5 reps at each weight. Okay, 5 reps, 5 reps, 5 reps. You're like, Adam, why would I do the same thing week 1, 2, 3, 4? Because your body needs time to learn. This is about coaxing. Okay, it needs time to learn. When you didn't start out with calculus when you were in 2nd grade. You didn't start out with algebra in 2nd grade. I don't know when you even start algebra, in high school maybe, junior high. But you started out with these very easy tasks. And then you learned a harder one, and a harder one, and a harder one, and a harder one. But you didn't get presented with something that you just had no basis to work on. And that's what the fitness industry is doing too much of. They're asking people to straight bar deadlift on their first day in the gym and clean and jerk and snatch when they're when they're out of breath. And it's just like, man, you're asking for huge problems, because the body just doesn't have the motor control to be able to do that just yet. Besides the fact that you shouldn't be doing snatches and cleans and jerks anyway, there's just too many reasons not to include them in a program, especially for adults. I don't see the point in little kids using them. Unless you're going to compete in a competition that requires you to do that activity, what would be the purpose? There is none. There is none. You don't come into the gym to be better at exercise. You come into the gym to be better at all the stuff that you do out in the real world. Exercise isn't about being better at exercise. That's for people who are trying to compete in this stuff. Exercise is about being greater at all the things that already make you great and of better service to all those that you care about. There's a big difference there. But you have to do the math if you're going to be responsible about this thing. And there is a big difference from my perspective to yours. So the person who's not a professional that does this, it's one thing what you do with your body. It's another thing for professionals, the responsibility they have when they tell you what to do with your body. It is extreme. It is a responsibility that I do not take lightly. I put a heavy amount of responsibility on my shoulders. I go 100% my responsibility, and and I ask you to go 100% and do the absolute best that you possibly can with the information that I provide at Great Gym. So it's a 100-100. It's not a 50-50. Okay? It's not a 50-50. It's a 100-100. But I need you to know that we're doing math to quantify this thing out so that we can work this thing smart. Okay? Somebody who isn't a high stress person might go just down to 81 here. Okay? Someone who most people are going to follow somewhere along there. This is the path that I use. Okay? So if we can quantify this out real quick. This isn't that hard. All right, let's find a squat. All right, let's say a person can do 300 pounds. Let's say a person can squat 300 pounds. What are the actual numbers are going to look like that? They can squat 300 pounds for a 1 rep max. We've calculated out that they have a 1 rep max of 300. Well, let's actually put this in let's go the full parameter here. All right, so they're going to do a 1 rep max of 300. Oh, I'm doing this backwards. Never mind. We don't need to do that all the way out because I'm actually going backwards from here. But anyway, so they got a 1 rep max of 300. What are they going to do for actual weights? Well, we're going to work backwards. So we're going to calculate that. So 86%, it's 260. So they're going to go 260 pounds. Remember, they can do 300 for 1 rep. So they're going to go 260 pounds for the last weight. And I'm rounding this off to the nearest 5. They're going to go 245 as another as their set to get up to there. 230. And they're going to do 200. And then remember, if you watch the other videos, they're going to do 100, half. And then they're going to go 50. They're going to go with just the bar at 45. So they're going to start out with the bar, throw on 100, do a few reps, throw on 200, get their first working set, 230, second working set, 245, third working set, 260, and this is week 4. Remember, we're always going to work backwards on this stuff. We're not going to work forward. All right, so what about week 3? Okay, this person can squat 300 pounds, and we're only going to take them up to 245 and 245 for their week 3. Why? Because we're coaxing the gain along. This person can squat 300 pounds, but we're going to only let them go to 245. Why? Because it's not about submitting your body to your will. This is how strength works. This is why people don't get stronger. It's because they don't listen to what I'm talking about here. Jim Windler has a quote where he'll introduce this topic, the math, the way he does it. He does it a little different than me. I think my way is just a little bit more clear. Anyway, and they'll go, well, I can't get strong that way. And he'll ask them, well, how strong are you getting your way? And they never have an answer. Okay? 245, even though they can squat 300. Okay, we're going to go we're going to write this in here, equals 300 pounds. All right, 300 pounds for week 2. They're going to go 230. Even though they can go up to 300, 215. I think it's 185 probably at 56. Yeah. 185. Okay, so he's going to go 185, 215, 230, 230. Why? Because it's about coaxing the gain. You're trying to bring it along. There's a person who can squat 300 pounds but we're taking 70 pounds off of there to give them 230 so that we can coax that gain along. Because when we get back here, let me finish this off. 185, 215. Okay, so 180. So on week 1, he's only going. This guy or this girl is only going up to 215 because they need to deload in only 2 sets. Week 2, they're only going up to 230. Week 3, only up to 245. Why? Because we're coaxing the gain. We're coaxing it along. We are not trying to submit the body to the will. Week 4, 86%. This would be, if you were trying to do trying to max out, you would do as many reps as you possibly could at 86% with 260. I'm going to guess that you're going to get close to 5, 6, 7. Now, if you got 7 reps at 260, now we can recalculate. Let's go 7 reps at 260 is 317. All right, because we can take this and we can say, now your new, I think it's 317.1, yeah. So now your new 1 rep max just went up 17 pounds from 300. Okay, this isn't like me just writing numbers on the board and thinking that this is how it's going to work out. This isn't theory. This is how it ends up happening. Okay, this is what you do when you actually get this stuff figured out and you back off. And you start listening, like when people stop doing whatever they want and they start listening to us out here and they do this, they end up with 260 times 7 and they get a 317 total. It's just not, it's not all that unrealistic and it's not all that complicated. You just have to do the math. You don't get to not do the math. Anyway, am I about up on my time? I think I am. Anyway, use this plus 10, minus 30 as your day-to-day. Some days you're going to go up 10% because you can, because you feel really good. Some days you're going to go down 30% because you feel like shit. Nothing's wrong there. Okay? Listen to your body to fight so that you can fight another day. Okay? Survive so that you can fight another day. If you keep beating yourself down, you never get over this, then you never get over that hump. Right? Work smart throughout your week. Anyway. That's the Math of Strength for Friday. Make sure that you guys are signed up for the Move Strong Games coming August 25th. It's going to be a really fun time. It's free for Grit Gym members. It's $15 for people who aren't members. Registration starts at 8 a.m. Events will start at 9 a.m. And there will be, actually we're going to add a third category because we had enough under 18 people joining. So there's going to be an under 18, under 45, over 45, male and female categories, and there will be prizes for each one in there, so I hope everybody can make it out. But this is how the Math of Strength works. And I guarantee you, I know way too many, saw somebody pop up on here that reminded me of this. I was talking with them about it the other day. But I saw this high school program that they had a set of 12 written down for 76% of their 1 rep max. A set of 12 should be like 40%. What is a set of 12? And on ours, a set of 12 is 67%. And that would be a max out set, like total, the most that you could possibly do for a max out set. So if you're opening up with your max weight, you screwed up, okay? It's just really, this stuff is something that it's there. The information's there. It's just whether the fitness industry is going to use it or not. But definitely get signed up for the Move Strong Games. It's going to be a really fun time. It's a friendly competition. It's a competition with yourself. I hope everybody can make it. Anyway, please like, comment, share. Send this to somebody that you know, to a power lifter, and because people need to know this stuff. They just really do. Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. We'll see you soon.